if we annoyed you yesterday with Heat and Panthers talk, all of these national people sniffing around the local hour because they want extra show and they get mad because we dare to talk about the Panthers and the Heat. We are bringing Udonis Haslem. We are going to be the show that gets Nick Cousins. We're going to be a show in 2023 that gets a guy from the team.
Who's Nick Cousins?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Seriously.
Come on.
Who is that? Seriously.
What happened? I mean,
He got the Panthers into the Eastern Conference Final.
oh, that Nick Cousins.
It's infuriating, Stugotz, the way that you and Tony treat this team, which has earned as much or more as the Heat team that's gotten grandfathered in through generations because, oh, hey, the winning's been fun for 20 years. Here's the only franchise that does it. So Heat, when the Panthers are kind of every bit as lovable.
I agree. What position does Nick Cousins play, Dan?
You're an asshole.
If I may, I feel like starting the show that way is necessary because of you setting the show up and the guests that we have on today. But can we please stop starting segments talking about how people are annoyed? We're just covering the conference finals in both sports like we did last year. Just so happens this year, 2 local teams are in it as 8 seeds.
Well, here's what's funny about this.
We're as surprised as anyone.
Okay, but here's what's funny about it, and this I want to, for a moment, simply explain to you as we have to defend ourselves, or I have to defend ourselves from the idea that we're talking to Udonis Haslem during the national show or Nick Cousins during the national show. The part about this that is funniest is we are the loudest South Florida show, and we're going to be so quiet if the Celtics drag the Heat. It's going to seem so foolish, us saying this is the best time in sports history if both teams lose in 5. And it's like, well, you got to the conference finals. Nobody will remember that 2 or 3 years from now except for you. Nobody cares about 4th place. Nobody cares about 3rd place. Nobody cares about 2nd place. And these cute little underdogs you got, they're cute, but they're not going to actually win. The Heat have a 3% chance against the Celtics. 3%, according to the analytics.
That's 3 times more than we were against the Bucks, right?
Yeah.
Look at us.
Yeah.
We're improving.
Yeah, good point, Chris. That's a good point.
Up
That's
and
a
on.
good point. Yeah.
And the Knicks were favored as well, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How'd that do? How do those odds
Okay,
look?
but I look out west, and where's the money? The money's on Denver. Lakers are a sweet story, and a lot of people are saying, well, it's the Lakers, it's LeBron. I've seen it a million times. Denver stinks. That's my analysis. They never win this late. But holy shit, was Jokic good this year, and they're favored. The money keeps going more and more to Denver. That's not what's happening in the Heat-Celtics series. The Heat are a monster dog.
Yeah, the Celtics are minus 500. And the Heat are plus 380.
A little flyer?
Which again,
flyer.
that spread is dwarfed by what the first round was against Milwaukee. Milwaukee, I think, in some books was minus 1,500 to win that first round series. And if our local teams lose in the conference finals, we'll do what we did last year when the Celtics and Warriors were in the NBA finals and when the Lightning and Avalanche were in the NHL Stanley Cup finals. We'll talk about them.
3% is a bit extreme, but does anyone in here besides Ryan Cortez actually think the Heat's going to win this series?
Yeah, Mike Schur.
Yeah.
Mike Schur and Bill Simmons and most Celtics fans. And this is the dream scenario. All I really wanted as the playoffs were taking shape was I was hopeful of a first-round matchup between the Celtics and Heat because that's where the fun is, and scaring Celtics fans because they're supposed to be going to the NBA Finals. The Heat are an 8 seed, for crying out loud. They weren't supposed to be here. I know it's the 3rd time in 4 years that they're playing in the conference finals, but no one expected the Heat to make it this far, so I'm just here for the content. Dan keeps texting me, who do you want, Philly or Boston? I just want the fun, and there's more fun to be had scaring Boston fans.
I did like the potential of Jimmy Butler facing the Philadelphia 76ers, but I'll take the Celtics. They're always fun. I think the Heat could win. I think the Heat are going to win. How about
Okay,
that?
your words mean nothing.
Okay.
But
Well, thanks.
Mike Ryan, though, and
interesting.
but this has been your move for a while, right?
Why can't I say I think the Heat are going to win?
He's
Well,
been right every
I think you're
series
right.
so far this playoff.
Thank you.
Your move for a while has been to pay no attention at all and then say that the local team is going to win the championship. You did it all Dolphin season. It's your laziest move. It's at this point in your career, of all the lazy moves, your laziest is that team locally is going to win the championship, rah-rah. Because if I ask you about the Panthers, what's going to happen with them?
They're going to win the cup. They're going to hoist the cup. Parade down Oakland Park Boulevard. I cannot wait. I mean, it's going to be great. And Tua, by the way, if he didn't get hurt, the Dolphins perhaps would have won the Super Bowl.
Correct.
I mean,
Can't predict that.
They were looking good.
No, we have, this is a wonderful thing here, as this show, in some ways,
given my opinions.
aspires to be a journalistic entity in some frail, flimsy ways. And Greg Cote's a monster homer, and Stugotz has said he's not homer enough. I want to be more homer. And Parakeet Cortez and Jeremy Taché, they all take homer tracks. And you're not in a good position when the arguments that you're making on your team that the analytics say is a 3% chance and the betting money is all coming in on the Celtics. When your arguments are, nobody expected us against the Bucks, Spo, just a mist of Spo. You don't know what to say. Just Spo at the end of a series. Culture. And this is the big one. This is the one that makes it fun. And it's why Mike Ryan wanted the Celtics instead of the Sixers, because the reason I kept asking him that was because I think they have a better chance against the Sixers. I think the Celtics are a good deal better than the Heat. And I think the only thing that I would bet on if I was betting on Miami is the joy of my money going to, wait a minute, is it just Simmons and Schur that's scared of Jimmy? Or is it all of them? Is it Tatum? Is it Tatum saying, oh, I thought that shot was going in at the end, and no one blames him for taking it, and he says he'll take it again. And it's Tatum saying, I thought that shot was going in. I expected Jimmy Butler to beat me. It's my favorite part. But I don't think they're actually going to scare Boston.
Really? Because I think they've already started to scare Boston. Here is an excerpt from Bill Simmons' podcast. And was Mike Schur on this episode?
Oh, yeah. Terrified.
Oh, listen to this.
If you go back and you look at all the recaps, it's like Heat rally again. Heat come back again. It's like they're Michael Myers. I hate their guts.
If I may, can I make a public service announcement to the NBA teams that are listening to this? Here's a public service announcement. At some point in your game against the Miami Heat, one of you will be dribbling into the lane, probably coming off a screen, and you will see one of your teammates flashing from the corner to the low post, and you will be tempted to attempt a pass to that player. You will not complete that pass. Will not be completed.
Yeah,
that pass will be tipped by Gabe Vincent or by Jimmy Butler or by Bam Adebayo, and the Heat will be running the other way. That worked in college against a zone like the one the Heat run. It may have worked in high school. It will not work against the Heat. Le Batard the other day asked me who are the 5 scariest teams in the East to the Celtics. I had the Heat at 1. I had the Bucks at 2 and the Heat at 1.
All right,
because
that's crazy.
I it's not. I'm telling you, man. Don't bail on me now. And I'm telling you, I do not want Miami in the playoffs. I think they're the scariest team, not because they're the best team. They're the worst offensive team in the conference. But to me, they're the scariest team to see in the playoffs.
It's not like they have moves. Their moves is that their coach is smart, and every series, these players leave the series broken, right? By the end of game 6, Randall and Barrett are like just fucking shells of themselves, you know? Brunson's like the only guy standing. To me, that's like coaching, execution, strategy. That's what they do. They just seize whatever you're bad at, whatever your weakness is, and they hone in on it. And if it's like this little cut, by the end of it, it's like this axe wound.
Missoula versus Spo. 34-year-old in the deep water. Let's go.
I'm not joking when I say I believe. I'm not kidding when I say this. I'm stunned to say it. I was looking only at the side of Mike Ryan's face during all of that sound. And the smile on his face was the happiest I've ever seen him.
Think about what you were doing when you were 34. Missoula has to outcoach Eric Spoelstra when he's 34.
Okay, all of this will sound silly.
Missoula, great name.
If the Heat go down in 6 games. But I am okay just watching this series thinking, waiting for nothing more than when do they all get scared? Like maybe The Celtics should be better. They should be better. They've passed the Heat all season long. We've been telling you the Celtics are better. And yet, this is what's funny about that Schur Simmons exchange. Simmons doesn't actually know what cometh this way. He has not been watching fear Heat porn all season the way Schur has. Schur has watched more Heat basketball than the show this year.
Easily.
Because he is scared of tip passes, he won't watch these games because he will only tune in afterward because he is scared of how the Heat play basketball, which is hit you in the face, hit you in the face, hit you in the face. Jimmy's going to take 15 free throws. How'd that work? How'd that win by 3?
And the person that you're claiming isn't that scared of the Heat called them Michael Myers. It's great. That's what came with beating the Milwaukee Bucks. It's this freeing, got nothing to lose, already got house money type of way. I loved the way that I enjoyed the Knicks series. I've never been more confident, and this team is an 8 seed that's not very good. And I'm entering the Celtics series the exact same way. Heat aren't very good, probably the worst team of the last few years. And I feel confident going into it because I know they're going to be scared.
What's Boston done to earn this regard?
Made it to the finals once. That's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
Boston's done nothing to earn this.
Well, they've been to the
regard.
conference finals, like 4 straight years?
5 out of the last 6.
They beat us last year in the conference
right
finals.
in 7
Yes.
games,
They
barely.
beat us.
Barely.
Well, the Heat. I'm a Heat fan. I picked
Yeah.
the Heat.
What? Former season ticket holder.
Yep. That's what happens when the Knicks get bounced out. I switch my allegiances to the team that beat them.
And when you make fun of culture, the Miami Heat lead the entire postseason, the entire playoffs in charges taken, in deflections, in steals, in all the intangibles that say effort and heart.
Those are all tangibles. You just named them.
Well, they're
The little
they are
things, Dan.
quantifiable.
Yeah.
Yes, they are quantifiable.
And also quantifiable. Heat given a 3% chance, according to the analytics. 3%.
Number schmumbers.
So there's a chance. I mean,
I'll take the over on that 3%. How's that?
That's fine. I would just say to you, so there's a chance is a pathetic rallying cry for us over here.
Heat in 6.
wow. Welcome to the party.
When was the last time Boston won a championship? 2006? Honestly, I'm not sure, but it's been a while. 10? 2010?
Well, the Heat won in 06
I think it was
famously. You covered the team
2007.
locally.
It was 8, I
It was Garnett and Pierce and Ray
A
Allen.
long time ago.
Okay, please calm down
He's right.
for a second.
You were almost in your 40s.
You came in
No
hot.
way.
You came in hot, and I need to explain to the
I
audience.
might be wrong on that.
Greg,
Wait, was Greg Cote in his 40s?
No. And Chris just said he thinks he's wrong on that.
I've never been in my 40s.
50s, my
I
bad.
went straight from the 30s to the 50s.
Skip the 40s.
I don't know how that happened. I skipped middle age, went right into old age, and it's glorious. It's very underrated. Like the Heat.
Middle age seems overrated to me, honestly.
Yeah, it really is.
What do you want that for?
Right, exactly. Middle age is like, when you're 5'9", you never get any credit for being an average height. You know what I mean? The
Be
tall
short or
people,
be tall. Exactly.
Yeah, right.
Right.
Exactly. So it's the same way with middle age. Nobody cares about middle age, People idolize you when you're young. They condescend when you're old. But if you're in that great middle age, you're in no man's land, really.
Yep.
Your comment, Dan.
like indifference that
Yeah.
in your 40s are
It's like
It's
a
literally
lost
where-
decade.
They
yeah.
look past
It's
you.
where all we are right now. All of us in the room.
as a show. I would say it's where we are. Just
Not
they
everybody.
look past you.
No,
indifferent.
especially me.
Right. The gank. Yeah, and you know it.
Oh, I thought You Never Know was going to make an appearance there.
You never know.
You threw me off though when
Look, curveball.
he's got 3 or 4 signature phrases. What he doesn't have is a back in my day.
Why don't
Playoffs.
playoffs? They haven't played since Friday,
It's playoff season.
It is.
but they
Thank
don't
you, Billy.
they
No,
don't
it
play
is.
for a week.
Well, hold on a second. I would just like to say, and I think that now is a day that we should do this because I don't know that we're going to get a chance to. We need to commend Greg because the schedule has come out, and Greg is going to be at an arena or covering these teams for 14 straight days. When the Heat
That's
are off,
correct.
the Panthers are playing. When the Panthers are off, the Heat are playing. Not just on top of the workload and everything that he's going to have to be doing. I cannot imagine what this is going to do for your diet if you're eating so much stadium food.
That's true, Billy, and it concerns me. Luckily, I'm too cheap to spend the $10 to get the meal.
I was going to say, he
at a
just
Heat
eats
game.
potato chips.
Well-
Like, that's going to be his dinner for 10 straight nights.
A couple of bags of potato chips. That's what the doctor ordered. Mm-hmm. But I'm very self-conscious because they have those kettle chips that are like extra crunchy.
Yeah.
And as my wife will tell you, I'm an extra loud eater.
Yeah.
I don't know why, because I don't chew with my mouth open or anything, but I chew loudly.
Yeah.
And the kettle chips are tenfold. I mean, they're so I'm self-conscious.
But you're alone in the media workroom most of the time because you sit there the whole time while everyone else goes out and watches the game.
No, that's not true at all.
It's been true since I've known you.
But
No.
I went to a Panther game in Greg's defense with you last year. Greg was sitting there watching the game.
Right.
Yeah.
When I'm
Heat games I'm talking about.
No, when I'm on deadline, which a Heat game almost always is, I usually watch the first half in the arena, actually watching the game.
Greg's
and then
there
I'm
to
usually
work.
writing during the second half.
Yeah, Greg's there to work. He's on deadline. He has things he needs to do, unlike the fans that have been infiltrating some of these press boxes as of late.
Yeah, exactly. That's a very good point, Billy. I'm not going to name names, but I understand that there was one member of the credentialed media, quote unquote, at the last Heat game who was openly and elongatingly cheering
For the Panthers an
when
hour
the
after the
Panthers
game.
scored that goal. Yeah, let's go! Professional journalism.
It was an hour after the game. What's the rules on that? When can you start just watching something else?
The rule is no cheering in the press box.
For the
That's
game you're watching.
literally the rule.
The rule is for the game you're watching, though.
No.
For those who don't know and maybe don't follow every single thing that Chris Cote does, Chris Cote was watching a Panther game in the Heat's press box the other day. The Panthers scored a goal, so the Heat clinched against the Knicks. It was a pretty magical hour if you're a sports fan. But what Greg is doing right now is looking down at Chris Cote the same way he does at Zaslow. Be a journalist. You got a credential. No cheering in the press box. Take it from me.
Nice hat.
A world-renowned homer.
Nice hat.
That there are journalistic principles that must be adhered to as I watch the second half next to the bathroom in the arena and ask when things happen on the television in the decisive last 2 minutes, what happened up there? What happened? Because I'm at the arena, but I can't even hear things because I'm in a concrete block next to the bathroom.
we actually have video of this moment in question as a legacy media member, Chris Cote, decided to break the oldest rule in the book.
When they have the puck, it's oh no. When we have the puck, it's all right, let's go. This is it. Gudis. Cousins. Yeah! Let's go!
Embarrassing.
Professional journalism.
That's how you do it.
You have that? You have a guy walking around with a shoe interviewing people? I mean, what's going on?
Credentialed media.
Nice hat, asshole, by the way.
Yeah, but I think I don't know how this works. I don't really care about the press box rules, the credentialed media. But you could do it. You could root for another team while at another arena, can't you?
No.
No. You
There were
really
multiple people still kind of doing work that were like, this is fine. It's Panthers.
I mean,
You're
this
good.
is where you
Right.
guys look,
Yeah.
man. This is
Fine in my book.
yes, Stugotz, and this is why Tim Reynolds is excommunicado because fine in your book is I swagger into the press box as radio guy. Everyone bows to my needs, and Greg is typing and saying, "Hey, I'm working over here,
Right.
entertainment guy."
Lighten up, media.
Yeah.
Seems like there's plenty of space. Also, quite the deflection. There have been 5 days off. That's a great excuse for next week or the week after. But why you don't have a back in my day this week doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
First of all, I did it back in my day
Oh,
last
for the
week,
love
You didn't. ChatGPT did.
and I read it.
Yeah.
All right, get another one. Have ChatGPT do another one until he's
It's playoff
embarrassed.
time,
Until he
man.
gets embarrassed because someone else can replace him, even someone writing in cliches, because that's how easily replaced he is. And
Can you at least give me a topic?
How about lazy journalists?
Wow.
All right.
That's
fine.
a good one. We will do a back in my day with lazy journalists. JuJu, I was surprised to learn, because, again, we haven't vetted people properly around here, that you're a Celtics fan, and I didn't know you were a Celtics fan, and I don't know why we keep hiring people as a journalistic entity who are representing fandom. Are you going to sit in the middle of everything we're doing here as a Celtics fan and just laugh at us when the Celtics win in 6?
Absolutely, big brother. And it's been sort of a Trojan horse. If you recall last year, me and you went to some Heat Celtics games, and I was an undercover brother.
Yeah. Is that a Celtics white power foam hand? I can't tell.
Celtics in 3.
JuJu, I sat next to you at these games. There was no indication whatsoever. You were filming me, getting in trouble with security. There was no indication you were a Celtics fan. You were a Celtics fan then, too?
Yes, sir. In the words of Lady Gaga, poker face.
Exactly.
So why did you decide not to hide it anymore? Why did you decide that you're going to now be a public Celtics fan?
Because life is short. I've lost a couple of homies. I realized you got to do things that you want to do before you die. Here we are. Celtics in 3. Salute to Mike Schur and Charlotte Wilder. I got y'all back.
Your move, Dan.
Okay, well, I just can't believe that people right and left around here are comfortable enough with their freedom to come out as fans, to come out. They've been hiding, and they're unmasked now, whether it's JuJu or whether it's Taylor.
I'm so sorry about your homies.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate you, brother.
I got you, JuJu.
Yes, sir.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I want to go back for a second to how, clinging on to the last vestiges of journalism, Greg Cote, because I'm going to make fun of him here, because he's writing columns in a cinder block dungeon from the 1980s with games on the television, but there's a delay on the television, and he's really not any closer to the action than if he were in his living room.
You don't even want to get into it after the game. Granted, let's start here. He wrote 2 columns. He was covering both of those games. So he's writing a column on the Panthers and the Heat game from the Heat Arena. So he was more in his computer that game because he was following 2 things.
Multitasking.
But also let me paint a picture. After the game, Spo's doing his press conference, and in these media rooms, my dad could be, by the way, at this, right, he could be listening to Spo, but instead he's in the media room
writing
on
2 columns
a TV
simultaneously.
that he couldn't control the volume for was really low. So you see my dad with his ear up against the TV in the media workroom listening to Spo's post-game comment.
Wait a minute. Time out. That was not live. Spo had spoken 20 minutes earlier when I was watching the end of the Panthers game and writing a column on deadline.
But just Dad, you can acknowledge the visual of someone just walking back into the media room and
Greg
with his ear. I have the video of it.
Your larger point is the world is moving too fast right now, all of it. Playoff games every day have you under a television sounding like my father.
What's Greg supposed to do? He's assigned to cover 2 games that are happening at the exact same time.
Billy.
This isn't Greg's fault.
Somebody appreciates
How about
me.
this? How about Chris Cote, who's there wearing a baseball hat and a shirt with no collar or buttons, supposedly covering the... Why doesn't he go and listen to the sound that Spoelstra's doing? Do his dad a solid.
Help his dad out.
Nice hat.
He could have done that. You're right.
This is
he's videoing his dad struggling.
I got good content of it.
Billy,
I'm pretty sure I told you nice asshole.
Billy, this is Cody's lament, and he directs it at Stugotz the same way he does at Zaslow, the same way he does at his kid. Do you know what it took to get to where your father is, cupping his ear to the television, you shitty brat? It took journalism, and he raised you on that career. Now, what do you do with it? You jump up and down yelling, "Let's go," in the press box, embarrassing your father. With no credentials earned, just credentials bothered from your journalistic father.
Wow. Well put. I eviscerate Christopher on my latest podcast, which you can listen to, the Greg Cote Show with Greg Cote, because he deserves it. It's the personification of the erosion and cascading sadness of what journalism has become.
The landscape is changing. It's different now.
Apparently. Are you kidding me? There's clowns in the press box now. It's ridiculous.
Jeez, name names.
I mean,
well, his son. He's naming his son. You embarrassed your father in that press box. You embarrassed him.
How much more would you hate me if I wasn't your son?
Oh, wow. That's true. I do give you a little bit benefit of doubt on that, but I'd still hate you. Yeah. You can't do that. What? A shoe? What are you talking about?
They were talking to just you, Greg. It was just in your ear. They were producing you. You're falling behind the times is the point. There's now cheering in the press box.
No, there shouldn't be, though. There's
This is a new and unimproved Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz. Gamble on by DraftKings.
I do not know why, but Greg Cote and Stugotz are insistent. They are saying, we have our top 5 lists ready. Top 5 names that connote family in sports. And I'm like, why do you have that? And they're both like, because Nick Cousins is on later.
In honor of Nick Cousins.
And even though we don't know who he is, who he plays for, what sport he plays, in honor of Nick Cousins, who will join us later as we celebrate Panthers hockey locally, because we've got 2 lovable underdogs. And I don't actually know where the money is on that series. The Panthers seem like they have a better chance to win the title than the Heat, correct?
The Hurricanes.
Hockey.
The Hurricanes are a slight favorite.
Because of the sport, yes.
The Hurricanes are a slight favorite. It's not just because of the sport. I mean, you can just say blanket because of the sport, but it would also really discount the type of hockey that the Panthers were playing down the stretch of the season. Outside of one little hiccup, based on form, you could say that the Panthers had just about as good a chance as anyone not named the Boston Bruins. The unfortunate thing for the Boston Bruins was they matched up against one of the league's hottest teams, and that was the hard part. And they mowed through Toronto, which was historically a matchup problem for them, had 4 of the top 20 players in the NHL. They mowed them down. Without having to play particularly well, people forget that Matthew Tkachuk hasn't scored since Game 6 of the Boston series, yet he found a way to impact the game and arguably, outside of Sergei Bobrovsky, be the best player in that series. Now, historically, over the last few years, Hurricanes and Panthers, this is a fierce rivalry that goes back to the Central Division presented by Discover. This is a difficult matchup
Put your
for
mud
the
boots on.
Yeah, this is a difficult matchup for the Florida Panthers, too. They have a losing record against Carolina this season, but the Panthers are a different team now. That being said, early money is on Carolina. Carolina a slight favorite in that series.
It's going to be a coin flip, I think.
A coin flip, wow.
The Panthers are much better offensively, but the Hurricanes are much, much, much better defensively. So I think I got the Panthers in 7.
Well, I mean, yeah, over the course of the season, much better defensively, but the Panthers' defense, remember, their back line is probably AHL level. The Panthers' defense is in those forwards, in Barkov, in guys like Cousins, in guys like Tkachuk, and their forecheck getting after it right now. The unfortunate thing for Florida is, and the impressive thing, I guess, for Carolina, they've done this having to navigate plenty of injuries. And this has been ample time to get healthy, so they're going to have some impact players coming back.
Yeah, Teravainen is going to be back in the lineup for the Hurricanes in this one. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Okay, that's very tepid analysis. It's going to be interesting, and it's a coin flip. Like, truly terrible from a hockey expert, but not unfair. And the reason I say truly terrible, it's actually accurate analysis, just not very entertaining analysis.
I have the Panthers in 4.
Right.
What the hell, Dan?
Well, this is how you do it.
5.
You have learned nothing from the radio gas bag, aspiring to be more like Cody, a journalist, a respected legend. I told Roy this last week, and I meant it. I told him again this weekend. There is no place in media locally in South Florida where Roy is more respected as a legend than when he walks into that building of the Florida Panthers. Roy would never embarrass us in a press box up there, hooting and hollering the way Chris Cote does.
He's too busy drinking beer.
Yeah, away from the press box.
This is real with Greg. This is not an act. Greg Cote does not respect Zaslow, because he has the character traits of his son and of Stugotz. The radio guys didn't have to earn it the way Cody did. The radio guys, they don't know what it's like to put your ear up to the television in the press box when you're 67 years old, working 14 straight days and unable to produce a back in my day.
Right. I'm hearing conflicting reports on this situation. I hear that Greg may or may not have apologized to one Jonathan Zaslow.
Huh.
I brought it up on my podcast. I think I was too harsh against him last week.
The nice hat was really just too far.
Nice hat. Yeah. I mean, I was being fed very personal shots.
Oh, wow.
I don't even
under the bus.
I don't even know this. I don't know any. If I'm going to hate somebody, I have to know them in order to hate them.
Greg, go sit in the penalty box.
Oh,
Thank
for
you.
2 minutes.
Oh.
Get out
Don't
of here.
apologize.
What
about his
Get
list,
out of
though?
here.
For what?
About my list.
Get out of here.
It's a beautiful list.
Maybe we'll
Especially
get to
number
it.
one.
Get out
boy.
of here.
Don't apologize either, big brother. That hat was whack. It was trash. He shouldn't have put it on. Get out of here. You come after Greg Cody Zaslow, you come after me.
Thank
Wipe
you.
your feet at the door when you come in here, big bro.
There you
Watch
go,
your mouth.
Juju. There you go. Thank you.
JuJu, would you teach him some things, please? Can you just, I send you to the penalty box only and exclusively with him. Please talk to him for 2 minutes. Teach him something for 2 minutes. What is the matter with him apologizing to Zaslow? Zaslow owes you an apology.
I was harsh to him last week. I
You
don't know
said
him.
nice hat.
I did. I may have called him.
Get out of here.
All right,
Get
fine.
out of here. And
Why,
JuJu,
why
just-
am I being sent to the
And-
penalty
well,
box?
then make it something else other than the penalty box. Something where JuJu can just sit with you and teach you something for 2 minutes about how to do this correctly.
The others, they all learn from me. That's what I'm going to do with JuJu. I'm going to learn.
All right, then.
What was
I don't know what that was.
He's right about that.
What did he just say?
I don't know. What is
It had to be from the classic American songbook.
Where would you like them to go for JuJu to teach Greg something? Like, what do you want him
We
to do?
got a
Just go to
green
the penalty
screen.
box.
We got a green
a
screen. Do
classroom?
something with it.
That's not a real penalty box?
Huh.
Cody's fed lines.
That was my fault. I botched that
Your
one.
fault that he doesn't know how to do this.
25% success rate on feeding him lines.
No, not even. It's not that good. There is more of a chance that he will just speak directly to you with something that you have said to him. And
What
he'll
was
say
that?
That's right.
Okay.
What about cake? What?
Yeah.
Or he'll just like laugh.
Huh. I like it. Yeah, I like it. That's my favorite one. Yeah, I like it.
Or just throwing a thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Billy.
That's right. Am I right? Yeah.
There's a certain innocence to it. I like it.
He's been doing this for 12 years.
Yeah.
It's why Zaslow hates him. It's like, how dare you look your nose down at me? You don't know how to do anything. You're in the press box with your ear to the television.
Is it possible that Zaslow and Greg are just the same, and that's why they don't like each other?
Possibly
Like,
same age.
Zaslow sees himself.
Well, no, like Greg doesn't seem to respect Zaslow as a journalist, and Zaslow doesn't seem to respect Greg as a radio host. So, like, they're both coming from the same exact place, just on opposite sides of this, and they dislike each other for the exact same reason.
Bit of a Spider-Man meme looking at each other, right?
Ah, yes, yes.
I've got a artificial intelligence back in my day on lazy journalist
Already?
to get to.
That was
Yes.
quick, yeah.
No, it was here
It was 10
last
minutes
segment.
ago, yeah.
It was here 10 minutes ago. It is possible. We are about to conduct a social experiment about whether Chris Cote, your dad, with all his credentials, can actually be replaced by a computer in a way that says that makes Billy say, already?
No, look. I will go into this with an open mind. Not that anyone cares my opinion on this, but I'll go into this with an open mind. I didn't like last week's because it was missing a certain touch of flair. You know what I mean? It was good. It had
Greg's
the
flair.
notes. Yeah,
Yes.
it didn't have the old school references to things from like 1918 that no one knows.
The
Like-
narcissism it was missing.
No, it was missing some cultural je ne sais quoi.
Can you guys put can you put into artificial intelligence lazy journalism written by a narcissist?
Yes, you can.
But that's not what we necessarily did. We
no,
should.
but we can tweak it. We can just do it now.
Well, yeah, I want to test the AI here and see how easy or hard would it be to actually replace Greg Cote.
All right, it'll be up in 2 minutes.
And Billy, I think you're right that the last one had too many cliches in it. It wasn't actually well written. Greg Cote's a good writer.
Maybe put in there, like in the things that you do, I don't know how this works, like reference to musical from 1940, and then we'll see really how powerful this is.
We're feeding this thing a lot of brain power. I don't know if we should be doing this, guys.
Well, but I want to prove that
We're
we can
feeding them
replace him.
Greg's brain power.
Yeah, but they're making him sound a lot smarter. No, I mean,
Well, this is old Greg before he comes back after talking to JuJu.
Stugotz, let's get ready here. Top 5 athletes whose name connote family. Do you have any OLIs, or is it just the
I have
top
none. I have dueling lists with Greg Cote, but Greg Cote is
That's
spending
all right.
2 minutes
I'll
learning
wait,
something
I'll
from
wait,
JuJu.
I'll wait for Greg
He's
Cote.
headed back right now.
He'll be back shortly. We have filibustered.
Let's ask him what he learned.
Yes, let's. He's coming back in now. I don't know why he apologized.
Walks
to
in front of the
Zaslow.
camera.
Walks right. Yes, he's
He
learned
doesn't
nothing.
care.
Walks
Oh
in the
my
wrong
God.
way.
Leave
Sits
the
right
man
down.
alone. He skipped his 40s. I mean,
Your mic's not on. Put your headphones on. You got to put your headphones on in order to do this correctly.
Hey, that kind of thing.
First words.
Yeah, he's right.
It wasn't really an apology. I mean, listen to the podcast.
Did you learn? What did you learn from JuJu in the penalty box for a couple of minutes?
Human kindness. That's what I learned.
Did he flip you, JuJu? Did he flip you to the other side?
Absolutely not. What he putting on right now is called cap in the streets. He capping. I told him when you see Zaslow, punch through his head, not punch his head, just punch through his head.
That's a good lesson.
That's how you knock somebody out.
That's a good lesson to learn as well.
Top 5 athletes whose names connote family. Number 5, Stugotz.
Sister Jean.
Greg Cote has some OLIs. I should have started with him. Outside looking in, Greg Cote is
Uncle.
What? Low on the
not.
list.
He's just
low.
your brother. That's not.
His name
what he calls
connotes
it.
a relative.
It's in his name, Uncle.
Uncle.
Yeah.
Wow.
Do you have more OLIs?
It was a dramatic pause for me.
Please, we will not get in. I need to examine this, and we'll get to the rest of the list later. I need to examine just what happened here as Greg Cote, who looks down his nose at Zaslow because Zaslow's not good at anything in journalism, and Zaslow looks at Greg Cote and says, "You stink at everything. How could you not learn basic things?" The list that is top 5 athletes whose name connote family is your brother, Uncle Dick, who is not an athlete.
He had a hole in one, Dan.
And his nickname is only Uncle Dick because he is Chris's uncle.
Right.
It's
and
not.
and Michael's uncle. That was a tie for 5th.
Double uncle.
It was Uncle and Uncle Fester.
It's not their name. We went over this.
You did not. You did not. You did not.
I swear.
You did not go over this. You did not.
We did.
You did not. You did not.
I may have gotten the rules wrong.
Pre-show meeting, man. I'm telling you.
You did not help Greg Cote. You are not helpful.
Greg,
You needed him to do this. He was too busy talking to JuJu. You needed him to do this.
Punch through him. That's good advice.
Explain this game to me and what you're not understanding about it.
It's 5 names.
This is a new and unimproved Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz. Gamble on by DraftKings.